Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Archaeologists Behaving Badly. I'm Belle.
I'm Raquel.
And this is episode
7.
What are we doing? Christmas.
Christmas, because it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
Favorite time of the year.
We have had a little bit of a break prior to this.
Yeah. So, it's been a couple of weeks. I do apologise.
3 weeks even?
Yeah. Since we filmed. Yeah. I sustained a neck and head injury from getting absolutely owned at a gig. So hilarious, but also
Very serious.
very serious, but also
Somebody did a flip off the stage and sort of landed on Raquel.
on my head.
Knocked her out cold and she smashed to the floor.
Yeah.
So
And he landed on my neck. So, that was quite.
bit of concussion and some torn ligaments and
And I'm back, and it's fine, and we're all good.
yeah.
Sorry for the delay.
And it's horrible, but it is
but it's also
hilarious.
kind of really funny. One of the
like just funny in that it's like, even when you first told me, I was like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. But also, what an absurd thing to happen to somebody.
I know, like sometimes you see it like at shows, like, and this was at, like a heavy music gig kind of thing. And like sometimes that happens, but you don't think it's going to happen to you. And I didn't see it coming at all. Anyway, so I'm back.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We're back. So we're doing a Christmas thing. I just also want to first kind of show you guys what I just found in the back. Oh my God, I don't want to break it.
Pull its head off.
This is not the creepiest thing you've ever seen at an auction house. I don't know what. Yeah, it's got a little
one
little booty,
and
and
dolls.
it has no eyes.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
It has
That's
no
fucked.
eyes, and it is really scary. And it's gonna haunt my dreams now forever. Anyway, so I thought that was one of the things I like to do when I first come here when we film is have a look at all the little goodies that are around, and
some of which are stunning and some are slightly strange.
Yeah, horrifying, I would say. Anyway, so
What else?
should we say something a little bit about
What? About how difficult it was to like find cool stories about Christmas?
Yeah, it was insanely hard to find.
So sorry if this episode's shit.
Yeah, it's been a bit difficult finding anything super interesting, but I think
or like archaeology related to talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Christmas
without just going into like hard, like religious archaeology stuff, which I mean, we can do an episode.
We can definitely do. I was kind of thinking that when like we first were floating this idea, but it's something that I would need to kind of deep dive into because it's like biblical archaeology isn't something I'm really well versed in.
Nor am I.
Yeah, in any sense.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. Biblical anything, I think, is not really usually my kind of thing. I just don't know much about it. So anyway, and I also had a bit of a cold, so I'm sorry if I sound a little bit disgusting. It's not COVID. It's fine. We're all good.
I hope it's not COVID because I've been sharing her vape.
It's not COVID, I swear. I've done tests. It's not COVID. It's fine. And I
don't even care anyway.
I feel fine. We're all good. We're all good. Okay, so I guess I'm starting.
Also, don't forget to drink because I'm like devouring mine and you've got what appears to be half a bottle in your glass.
Yes. Well, you were the one that poured it, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it at all. Okay, cool. So talking about Christmas, and I was thinking, the origins of like Santa and all that. So like the Santa that we know.
Oh my God, like, we'd almost done the same thing.
Maybe. No. Talking about, so we're kind of overlapping, but we're talking about different parts of it. So I think it's going to be fun. So I don't know if you've mentioned this, but just as like a little bit of a background, like the Santa that we know, like on Christmas cards, like the Hallmark Santa, is like, it's pretty common knowledge that kind of came out from the Coca-Cola like industry and their like advertising. So that began in the 1920s, but that kind of really ramped up.
Is that when cocaine was still in Coke?
I don't know when that stopped being in Coke. I assume so. That's hilarious. Imagine those days, just all the kids, just hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. The use, like, doctors would just like prescribe the wildest shit to people when they were ill, or like cocaine was in Coke.
Yeah. And like I think they gave
military leaders were on fucking meth.
Yeah. Didn't they used to give like ecstasy and stuff to like housewives?
Really?
And stuff, yeah, to like make them happier and like perkier, you know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure that was one of their, anyway.
Classic.
I digress. But yeah, anyway, so in 1931, Santa was kind of reimagined by Coca-Cola as like the red, you know, the rosy-cheeked, jolly kind of, you know, Santa that we...
Jolly old white man.
Yeah.
With a big belly.
So I was kind of thinking, where was like the actual, like where did it really originate from?
Mm-hmm.
And turns out that Old Mate Santa might have actually be first attributed to Odin from Norse mythology. Yeah. So Odin was the Norse god of war and the dead, also of poets, which I thought was
a random
seemed kind of out of place. But also kind of fitting, like poetic and death and anyway.
Yeah.
Many feels. He was also...
All the feels.
So many feels. He was also... the wolf and the raven were also dedicated to him.
Interesting.
Which gives me like Edgar Allan Poe vibes, you know? It's like the whole poetic thing kind of makes sense to me. So he's basically like the ultimate sad boy. And... I think like the cult of Odin, or where like he was really started to be really prominent, was all the way back from the 2nd century BCE, I think. But I think that was like very small numbers. He didn't really ramp up until obviously the Viking Age and like the Middle Ages and stuff. But I think Odin kind of stems back from all the way to like the 2nd century.
Okay.
I couldn't find much about that, but I saw that being popped up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's depicted as being an older man with one eye, with long white hair and a long beard. Despite this, he's known to be like super strong.
Yeah.
And he's also attributed to being a magician. So there's magic involved, which is like Santa, like, you know.
I want to hang out with
I
him.
know, he sounds like a pretty cool dude. And he wears a wide-brimmed hat. Like that's what he's known for.
Really?
Yeah.
He's never, I mean... Not that I've seen like a million things where Odin's depicted, but I don't, it doesn't come to my mind that he would have a wide brimmed hat on.
Yeah. It sounds like Gandalf to me. That's pretty much like what I visualize. So yeah, if you visualize Gandalf, I think you pretty much visualize Odin. But yeah, I think that's like the original kind of concept of him, was like this old wise.
Cool.
He was also like attributed to like wisdom and stuff like that. So the reason why they think the original Christmas or Santa thing is connected to Odin is, besides from being Gandalf's like doppelganger, is due to the pagan holiday Yule, which is celebrated over 12 days between the 21st of December to the 1st of January.
And that's like winter solstice.
Yeah, so it's like midwinter.
Yeah.
It's like a massive time. And, like,
I'm pretty sure I've read that like that's why like red and green are Christmas colours because of that pagan Yule connection. Like when everything's fucking icy and snowing and there's like no crops and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The red and green of the whatever plants. The pine trees
the
and
evergreen
the fucking
and like
red berries or whatever.
Is
like the only thing that's really like vibrant during that time.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know that. Like, that would make sense. So during Yule, in midwinter, Odin is said to go on the great hunt, where Odin flies through the sky on his 8-legged horse, Sleipnir. And I did get my partner to double check that's how you say it. I think that's how you say it, Sleipnir. Also, sorry to
if it's not.
If it's not, and to all the Scandinavians and my family, if you're listening, that's really awkward. Where he leads the spirits, ancestors, and gods from the other world across the sky.
Sorry, I just heard a noise and I was like,
what is that?
it sounds like a fucking animal is scratching.
What is that?
Oh, it's a fucking magpie pecking at the door frame.
Oh my God.
There must be like bugs there or something.
Oh my God, I was like, well, what the fuck is that? Anyway.
Bro, we're trying to
me.
record a podcast here.
Rude. How rude.
Sorry.
So basically he leads, like, he goes on this great hunt. He, like, flies through the sky, his 8-legged horse, and he leads the spirits, ancestors, and the gods from the other world across the sky. And so basically, so it's like, you know, that concept of, like, the Santa in his sleigh, you know, with his reindeers going, you know, into the sky.
And even though Odin's is an 8-leg, like one with 8 legs.
Yeah.
Does Santa have 8?
How many does he have? I don't know. I'm not a big, like, my family went huge on.
I'm obsessed with Christmas, but I don't know, like, Christmas songs, really. I'd be like, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Rudolph, obviously.
Well, there's one in the front, so it's got to be an odd number, right? I reckon it might be 7.
Okay.
Like 3 on each side and then 1 leading. I don't know.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
With his nose.
Yeah, of course.
So bright.
Yeah. That guy. Please correct us.
Yeah, tell us how many. We could have probably looked it up, obviously.
Probably could
Tell
have.
us how many fucking reindeer Santa has.
So basically, yeah, you didn't want to be outside at night alone during this time in case you got caught up in his hunt.
Okay.
So that was like during the 12 days of Yule.
Bit creepy.
Super creepy. I kind of like love how these like super fun, happy, innocent festivals that we have or traditions that we have like now like come from really dark and fucked up kind of beginnings. I don't know. I think that's really cool. And it also kind of reminds me of what we talked about in the Halloween episode where you were describing the Halloween origins. We were describing, I don't know if it was Scotland or Ireland or something, if it was like Gaelic.
I think it was Ireland.
Yeah. And to do with like spirits coming from the other world. It's like the same kind of concept. And it makes sense because the pagans loved that shit.
Yeah, they really did.
They did. They loved a good like spooky tradition, a good haunting. I love it. So Yule, also known today sometimes as Yuletide, which I think just means like the days after Yule.
Okay.
I think that's what Yuletide means. It's still around. I know in Swedish, for instance, we call Christmas Jul with a J.
Ah.
So yeah, so like, you know, so that's, and I think other places in Scandinavia have the similar thing. Yeah. So even like no matter if you're Christian or you're not Christian, that still remained as like the name, you know, for that, which I think is pretty cool. And a bit of as like a side note, and I get a little bit off track here, but I kind of gotten off on a tangent and I kind of went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So when I was doing research on Odin, I read that there were like heaps of similarities between him and like the Indian Vedic gods.
Ah.
So like the Vedic, specifically with a Vedic god named Indra, who ended up being a Hindu god. So he kind of got taken into like the Hindu kind of pantheon of gods. Indra is also associated with Thor, but it just depends on like what attributes you connect him to. But he's very commonly also like connected as being like Odin. So I mentioned this really briefly in episode 4 on the one on India.
We get so drunk every time. I can't promise that I'm going to remember.
To be fair, I had to go back as well because that was also a massive learning curve. Like that was a really fun episode because I actually had to kind of
the India episode.
Yeah, because I had to kind of dig deep on that.
We do have to do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so The Vedic texts are a series of 4 sacred texts or teachings, the oldest of the 4 being the Rig Veda. And it was written in an archaic Indo-European language called Vedic, which is where Sanskrit derives from.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Rig Veda is argued to have been written around 1500 to 1200 BCE.
Okay.
So like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Although they could be older, but generally speaking, that's the date that we attribute it to. But it could be like from older teachings. We don't really know. It's a bit of a grey area. In the early Rig Veda texts, which were, like I said, incorporated into Hindu mythology, Indra is the most powerful, respected god and is the patron of the warrior, god of war and the weather. And he's also known for his brute strength. And he is known to have a chariot and 2 horses that ride across the sky.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know. Hang on. What have I done?
Sorry, I'm not contributing much. I feel like I'm just yelling interesting.
Interesting.
Wow. I sound sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah, so I keep kind of getting flashes of like Santa and his sleigh, and then you've got like Odin with his like 8-legged horse, and then you've got Indra with his chariot and his horses, and they're all kind of...
A sleigh is basically just a chariot with no wheels.
Exactly. But there is a connection. Yeah. So the connection is that all these traditions stem back from Indo-European mythology or traditions in itself, and that Indo-European traditions spread out, and you've also got the same with Zeus. So like you've got, Greece, you've got Saturn, you've got Rome, you've got the Norse mythology, you've got the Vedic mythology, but they all actually stem from an Indo-European shared tradition, and that's why they're all really similar.
Similar, yeah.
So I thought that was just kind of really interesting, where you can be like, yeah, Christmas, like Santa,
actually comes from
could be molded from
a few different.
Yeah, and across the world, no matter if it was actually attributed to anything, religious or
actually to do with Christianity or
at all.
Whatever.
Yeah, which was obviously had taken it, but
yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
And a little bit off topic, and I'm sorry. Anyway. Oh yeah.
Don't apologize for going off topic.
And so I was also thinking, so you've got like Santa, and I was like, okay, like what other like aspects of like Christmas, could we talk about? And I was interested to know where the fuck elves come from. Like where did Santa's elves, where did they come from? I kind of thought that they were purely from maybe like British folklore, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or not British folklore, but like, Gaelic or Celtic.
Yeah, I've never even thought about it before.
Like fairies and
leprechauns.
Yeah. That's kind of like where kind of my head went, and I was like, maybe that's where. Turns out they also come from Norse mythology.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. So it turns out that I hate having to say words that aren't in English. So it turns out that the word elf derives from, elfa, I think it is, also known as hudelfolk, which means hidden folk.
Listen, your accent sounds amazing to me. So
I'm really sorry to all our Scandinavian friends and family who have to...
What was hidden folk again?
I'm not saying it again. You got it once. You got it once. That's all you get.
Damn it.
And I didn't even ask Peter to help me with that one. So anyway, I probably butchered it. Anyway, and they were like known to be either good or evil. So you have like either good elves or bad elves, which I think might have actually come after Christianity, because like Christianity is always like the good versus the evil.
Yeah.
There's like, so they think that maybe that might have influenced it.
Okay.
But either way, like in the stories, in like Norse stories, you had good ones and you had evil ones. But they never had really their own stories. They were always just kind of there attributed to other people's stories and,
Like,
side characters.
Yeah, side characters.
Yeah.
They're in the background.
Yeah.
We want to know more. We want to know more about the elves. Yeah, because also are they, like, we think of Santa's elves as being, like, little,
Yeah.
but then they're also depicted in, well, I'm only thinking of Lord of the Rings, which obviously was written only 100 years ago.
Yeah, but I would think that, like,
Not just as being, like, these little kind of...
yeah, these little beings kind of thing. That seems to me more like folklore,
Yeah.
fairies and like leprechauns and like, like that kind of, that kind of pagan aspect to it rather than it being Norse.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense if those Celtic or Gaelic traditions kind of came originally from Viking inspiration as well, because they also, pillaged their way through.
They sure did.
Through Europe and especially there. So
That's where the fucking ginge comes from. Those Scandinavian scoundrels.
Those goddamn Scandinavians. Sorry, fam. But anyway, in like the Norse mythology, they're kind of known, as well as dwarves, like dwarves and elves, were kind of minor divine beings that were particularly really good at crafting precious objects. Their skill, they were known for their skill, for their moral ambiguity, and also their agility. So that's like how they were kind of perceived in like Norse sagas and like in texts and stuff.
Fucking interesting. Sorry. No, but actually, particularly the crafting thing.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And I was like, okay, cool. So that's probably where, Santa gets his little, his little minions to do his work.
Yeah, I need some people to make some toys for me.
Yeah. And
I'm
so,
a fat old lazy fuck.
That's it. I was actually thinking he would make the worst fucking boss. Like these poor basic slaves, basically, just like, working for him day and night.
And he gets all the credit.
All the credit. And then you've got all these poor elves just doing all the hard work.
24/7, 365.
Where's their union? That's what I want to know. Yeah, he sounds like a tyrant. Anyway, but yeah, that's it. So yeah, I guess where Santa's elves kind of come in, I guess they're more like an amalgamation of, Gaelic folklore and Norse mythology, where they're like kind of fairy-like, but they're like really skilled and kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool because
very cool.
I was thinking about it.
I've honestly never even thought about it before.
Yeah, like
why the fuck does Santa have elves?
Yeah, like why?
Also, where did he get them from?
Yeah, and why do they want to help him so much?
Yeah,
I think it's kind of cool though, like Odin being known as a magician, and then I was just like, that's kind of cool. Like, Santa's all about magic and, making people's wishes come true. And then Odin just being the most opposite kind of.
I'm sorry. Not sure if you can hear that, but someone's just, I don't know, started a barge out the front.
Right at the front somehow.
Like a fucking massive ice-breaking ship that's just like.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Is it a motorbike?
Does it sound like?
No. It's a truck or something. Anyway, sorry. If you can't hear it.
Maybe it's like a dying car or something. Anyway. It just gets worse. Anyway, so I was also thinking about, so I grew up, so you celebrate Christmas.
I'm obsessed with Christmas.
You love Christmas.
But
you love holidays. You love all the...
I don't get super into Easter or anything. Christmas is because my mum, who passed away, she was, and we're not a religious family, but she was obsessed with Christmas.
That's so cute. I love it.
Obsessed. To the point where, like, she would get up on Christmas morning at, like, 5 and just wait for me and my sister to get up. And we would get up at, like, 9 because we just, like, didn't give a shit about anything. Even as, like, young kids. Poor mum. Anyway, so now she's gone, but now I'm very obsessed with Christmas, kind of in her honor.
I love that though. You know, you keep up that energy.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah, I like in Australia, for those who aren't in Australia, we celebrate, generally speaking, we celebrate Christmas on the 25th, like the Americans. But I'm half Swedish, so my family have always had a Swedish Christmas.
Yeah.
So we always celebrate on the 24th.
On the 24th.
Which I think is
and my stepdad's family are
German, right? Yeah.
So we do a Christmas Eve thing, which is awesome.
Yeah. And that's always kind of, I mean, how I grew up, it was always a nighttime thing. So you didn't wake up and open your presents. It's like you had to get through the whole fucking day and then you had to have dinner. And I remember like being...
Everyone's fucking pissed.
Everyone's wasted.
Been drinking wine all day and night.
Dude, my family Christmases is like the vodka. The Swedish drinking songs and the schnapps and the vodka, and it's just everyone's blind by the end of it. But it'd be so funny, like as a kid, you'd just be waiting, just be like, has everyone finished dinner yet? Like, can we open the presents now? I'll help clean up. Just anything to make this go quickly, please. So we still kind of do that, but we kind of do like a lunch thing now, just because I can't be bothered doing a nighttime thing anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I don't know. And keeping up those traditions as well, like it's nice doing a family kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Whether you're religious or you're not religious, I think it's just a really...
It still is like I would consider myself, I guess, culturally Christian in that I celebrate Christmas. To me, it has nothing to do with religion.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
Being interested in history, I know that Christmas was pulled from much older stuff than just the Christian stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun and like celebrating family and
And it's cute and it's nice buying gifts for people and doing nice things for people.
Yeah.
Christmas is cute. I'm surprised we didn't get any Christmas stuff.
No, I
forgot about it.
I forgot about that part of it. I could have pulled some shit off my tree or something.
You have so much stuff. You definitely. And I was also thinking what your favorite Christmas movie is.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
it's a hard one.
Look, I'm not even wasted. Tim Allen's The Santa Claus is up there.
Okay, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
I grew up watching those ones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a sucker for Love Actually, even though it's like so problematic now. Like, have you seen it?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, good.
But I don't religiously watch it every year. It's something I haven't actually seen.
Year.
Yeah.
I also watch The Holiday every year, which is so embarrassing.
Is that the one with Ashton?
No, it's,
oh my God, no, it's
Jude Law, Jack Black, Kate Winslet, and Cameron Diaz. It's so embarrassing, but I love it.
Oh my God, right? And she goes to England.
They do
Cameron
like
Diaz.
a house swap. The girls do a house swap. It's so bad, but I love it. And my number one Christmas movie every year is Krampus, which I'll talk a little bit about in my thing. But my big brother and his wife, who are also two of my favorite people in the world, we watch Krampus every year.
That's super cute.
Which is because it's so bad, but it's so good. My God.
That's what makes it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cute little Christmas tradition that you have.
Yeah. What about you?
So let me stress this. I'm not a very Christmassy person in the sense that my parents were never
it wasn't
Christmassy
a thing,
people.
Yeah.
You know? But my favorite movie to watch over Christmas is A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Classic.
Which could be a Halloween movie.
Also classic for you being a little bit of a gothy gal.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an emo, a bit of a sad girl. That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a Halloween movie, but it's also a Christmas movie to me. And I love watching that. And because we have Christmas Eve every Christmas day, like 25th, I'm hungover. I just eat leftovers on the couch and I just put on that. Like that's just what I do. And I love it.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was really good.
So Odin, OG.
Okay, we're back for my bit.
Yeah.
We did have a little break and we did drink more wine, so now we're
Quite a little bit
tipsy.
drunk.
Quite a little bit drunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
You're welcome. Okay, so my turn.
Yeah.
So when I just Googled like Christmas archaeology and then was like trying to look through things to try and find something to talk about, I found an article that was entitled "Santa Claus is Dead According to Archaeologists." So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that article.
Was he even real though? But okay. But I didn't want to spoil anything.
It ties in with your Odin stuff.
Okay.
It doesn't talk about Odin, but like
yeah.
just that Santa came from many different
aspects. Yeah.
aspects.
Yeah.
So this is kind of more about St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, archaeologists in southern Turkey claimed to have uncovered the tomb of St. Nicholas.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Wait, when?
I think it was like 2017, 2016,
Okay,
something like
so
that.
not that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Underneath the St. Nicholas Church, which
Okay.
is in the Antalya, province, which is I think it's like on the Mediterranean coast in Turkey.
Okay,
southern
cool.
Turkey.
Yeah.
So St. Nicholas of Myra, and I think Myra is now known as something else. It starts with a D and I can't remember and I didn't write it down. Sorry.
I think I vaguely quickly read about this earlier today and don't remember anything about it. But
Okay,
I do
cool.
I do remember Myra though, or Mira, or yeah.
Mira, yeah, maybe it's Mira.
I don't know. Yeah.
Fuck, sorry. So he was known for his anonymous gift giving and generosity.
Lovely.
The story is that he was a monk who gave away his inheritance to the poor. Jesus.
Too much wine.
Too much wine.
And whiskey.
It's just going to be one of those times.
Yes.
So his feast day is December 6th.
Okay. It's my dad's birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Back in the day, he would leave coins in people would leave their shoes out for him and he would leave coins in them.
Oh, that's cute.
He's the patron saint of sailors, which I thought was kind of a random.
That's super random.
And he was really fond of children, and it was written in the article exactly like that. He was really fond of children. And I was like,
That's a little bit. Yeah.
it's cool to love children, but yeah.
It's just like when you read that though, you just kind of like the
Immediately.
the immediate connotation towards that. You're just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. But it could
Why
be.
do you love children so much?
I mean, it could be all very innocent.
There's one story of him saving 3 kids who were lured into the clutches of an evil butcher. Another version, I'm not sure if it's a version of the same story or if it's a separate story, was that he saved 3 girls who were being forced into prostitution.
Oh, wow.
Another story is that he saved some soldiers from a wrongful execution.
Oh, wow.
So he liked saving people who were vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like he obviously was a real person and he did a lot of good shit and that's why.
And that's obviously where these like stories, so like even if they're
like
true or not.
Sainthood stories.
Yeah, like that's where they kind of come from. Like clearly you were known as being a pretty good person, trying to help people.
Then there are some other stories like he like calmed a really aggressive storm at sea, which I read and was like,
okay.
I mean, maybe he did that.
Or maybe it was coincidence.
Or chopping down a tree that was possessed by a demon. I read that.
Like, what is that? I'm sorry. What does that mean?
I didn't have time, but that's not true because I had all the time in the world, but I didn't actually research more into that.
To be fair,
First of all, why did you think the tree was possessed by a demon? Like, did he just chop down a tree?
yeah, but also it kind of sounds like a really good, like, just story and excuse. Like really?
We'll add that to the list of good things he's done.
Yeah.
He died in 343 CE.
Oh, shit. I thought he was from...
He's old school.
Like, I thought he was way more recent than that.
No,
Like,
Saint Nick is old school.
No shit.
Yeah.
I thought maybe, like, minimum 1200.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's an old boy.
Old boy.
So a few centuries later, Byzantine Emperor Theodosius, Theodosius, that'll do, the second, ordered the construction of the St. Nicholas Church over the site where he served as a bishop.
Okay. Well, that's nice. That's cute.
1087, merchants apparently dug up his bones and took them to the Italian city of Bari.
I've been there.
Did you go there?
I went there. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Really random, but yeah. It's really cute.
And Christians still visit the site.
No way.
Yeah, it still is a little bit of a pilgrimage.
I did a little day trip. I was staying in Polignano, which is like one stop on the train away from that, or 2 stops away from a train. Like, it's a half an hour train ride. And we went there for a day trip.
Nice.
And it was super beautiful, like down near the water. But I had no idea. I didn't actually look into any research about, because that would have been somewhere I would have gone to if I had seen something like that. I guess I didn't do too much research. It was kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. But that would have been really cool. And I think I have an idea of where that probably was, because there's like the old town there, and it's like it's kind of like you're walking through an old castle, not castle, but like fort area kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of like prominent churches and stuff like near it that we kind of walked past. That could have been one of them.
Well, I think that all we're learning from this is that we have a few places to travel to together.
Yeah, definitely.
After we've
that's
researched them when we're wasted and we're not going to remember anything anyway.
I feel like we have these moments every single time. But yes.
Oh, let's go there.
We should go there. Yeah,
we're going to go somewhere next year. That's happening.
Absolutely, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, let us know where you want us to go as well if you have any good places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll record some shit while we're there.
Yeah.
During the First Crusade, a group of Venetian sailors removed most of the remains from Bari, or I don't know how you would say that.
It's
Bari?
Bari.
Bari?
Yeah.
That sounds better than Barry.
Barry.
And took them to Venice.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So people are just stealing his bones and taking them wherever.
Yeah, rude. How rude.
It's quite outrageous.
It's very outrageous.
During the Protestant Reformation in the 1500s, when like the veneration of saints, like revering saints, was really frowned upon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like,
I didn't realize that was a thing.
They were they were burning books and
shit,
killing stories of saints.
I didn't realize that was a part of like the Reformation. I didn't realize that was like the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck. Okay.
But stories of him survived because he was just so popular with people.
People
loved him. It was during the 1600s that Saint Nick started to shift towards more of like our idea of Santa. So he feeds into the Santa story.
Yeah.
Pretty heavily.
Yeah. Because Satan. Yeah.
Because he became known as Father Christmas.
Yeah. Yep.
And the lore about him traveled to the Americas with the Dutch. They called him Sinterklaas.
Yeah. I think that's still a thing.
Yeah.
In like all up in the kind of like mid-North Europe kind of area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that.
They gathered every year on the anniversary of his death, which I didn't look up actually when that was. So good job, Belle.
I assume probably sometime in December, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Although I think he was still alive when the December 6th feast thing about him started. So I'm
Okay.
not sure if that's associated with his death or if that was something that happened
Yeah.
before.
It might not have been at all. Like, yeah.
And then he, as Father Christmas, started making appearances as a character in stores and literature in the early 1800s, taking on
Yeah.
the Odin stuff.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Indra?
Indra.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an amalgamation
Yeah.
of all these little things to make up this perfect little, I don't know, it's like you're putting a little character together.
Yeah.
Of all the really lovely attributes that make sense and historical.
And we'll leave out the fucking dark, weird
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. The ghosts and the fucking, yeah. The 8-legged horse and shit like that, yeah.
But archaeologists say the pilgrims traveling to the Basilica di San Nicola, in Venice are praying to the wrong person. They think that it was actually a local priest. In 1953, though, bone fragments from Bari and from Venice, like from those two sites, were taken. So obviously when the Venice sailor troupe took him, they didn't take everything.
No, they just took like, a portion of it. Yeah.
So they were studied and they were from the same
No
person.
way. That is so rare because you hear so many stories of, especially in like biblical stuff of, you take the bones of someone and you take them somewhere else, and they're all kind of hearsay, and you always just be like, oh, but did you? Like, and I innately always think you didn't do that. Like that's fucking bullshit. Like you're just telling a fucking story. But that's cool. So they've actually.
Well, that study was done in 1953, and I also didn't look for anything that was done more recently on the bone fragments.
True.
But that study was 1953, so they wouldn't have had the type of analysis that we can do now.
What did they have?
What did they have, and how did they know that it was from the same individual? Whatever.
Interesting.
Maybe. But supposedly it was from the same individual.
Okay. Yeah.
But obviously at the time, no way to conclude that it was
confirm
him.
or deny. Yeah.
So more recently, they've done lots of surgeries.
We are not talking very well right now.
Merry Christmas. We're drunk.
This is our Christmas party.
They haven't done surgeries. They've done surveys. Cool. At the Church of St. Nicholas in Turkey.
Yeah.
The article that I read initially had said that excavation was difficult because there were like protected mosaics on the floor, but they'd done, I guess, like maybe GPR or something, and they'd found cavities and stuff.
Yep.
And then I found another article that I guess insinuated that they had done some excavation.
Yeah.
And they had found his sarcophagus, and it was at the base of a fresco depicting Jesus.
Oh.
So there was, a connection with, I'm not sure how much of him was left actually in the sarcophagus.
So this is like after he'd already been taken?
Yeah.
So you'd only have a couple of, a portion of like his remains in there. Yeah, okay.
Some little crumbs.
Yeah.
Oh. That's kind of rude. That's all I wrote. I feel like I'm missing a couple of paragraphs, but that's St. Nicholas done.
Are they over there?
No, because then it just moves on to Krampus.
Because I saw some pages over there. New bag.
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Good.
St. Nicholas.
There you go.
Very good.
To be fair though, I think that's pretty crazy don't know how great that analysis was in the 1950s.
No.
But if that is kind of, I think that's even still like a feat where we can be like, actually, I can hear a story where, you know, people have taken the bones of someone, and I could maybe think now that might actually be a true story.
Yeah.
Whereas I've always thought that like, oh yeah,
Completely fabricated.
it's just completely fabricated.
Yeah.
You know, you're also trying to trump up your own church or your own establishment or your own something, and you're using that as a way to do so.
Yeah, so I
that's true.
feel like Saint Nick was the human being that he was based on.
Yes.
And then there's these mythological attributes
Yeah.
that were taken
Yeah.
to create this character.
Yeah, and when we were like, because when we were organising this episode and trying to make sure that we just talk about the same things, I was like, and I knew you were talking about Saint Nick. Not that I know anything about him. This is the first time I'm listening about it, but it's exactly the same thing as like even the Odin story. It was still an amalgamation of so many different attributes, and it makes sense. Like you're trying to take all the good things from so many different traditions to make a new one, and it makes sense. Of course, you'd use him. You know,
and I mean, I think that's true for a lot of.
Have you ever heard
figures?
Yeah,
I mean, some very famous figures in religion also.
Yeah.
Maybe some of their stories are taken from previous
Have you
happenings.
Heard of like Santa's, I don't know what you call it, like Santa's whatever, in like the North Pole? My brother has been there. My brother is
to the North Pole?
Yeah, so at the North Pole there is like Santa's workshop or Santa's something, and they've got like a
like
full...
they actually built something
Yeah,
as
they
like a
built it.
tourist attraction.
Yeah. And my
Oh, I want to go there.
I know, yeah. So my brother's, my half brother's mum, took him there, and this was years ago. And it's
I really wanna go
amazing.
there.
Yeah, and there's like reindeers, and it's like insane. It's so cool. Yeah, I remember seeing photos. There's a whole, it's like a whole place.
It's a whole place.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole place you could actually go to, and like, it's really cute.
My Christmas dreams.
Do you know what she does? Like every Christmas, I don't know if she does it now, but she used to when he was like really young. She used to do like fake snow near the Christmas tree and put fake footprints. Like
Cute.
It was really, really cute. But yeah, it took him to like literally the North Pole. Like, well, I think it's
fucking incredible.
I think it's
Lucky
actually
him.
Yeah, I think it's in Finland.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong. It's in Finland or somewhere.
That's pretty far north.
Yeah.
But that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just
And very different to in Australia, obviously. It's summer when we have Christmas. So we've grown up having
It's so different.
hot. You have Christmas like by somebody's swimming pool.
Yeah. And because we've grown up like that. Like my partner being from Sweden, when we had our first Christmas together, for him it was just like, but this isn't Christmas.
This
He's
isn't
like,
real Christmas.
He's like, I can't even look at it like Christmas
Yeah.
because it doesn't have that same warmth.
Yeah.
You know, because you get all cozy and it's just a whole different kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't have that. But we've got ridiculous high heat sometimes and barbecues and some seafood.
Yeah.
And that's Australian Christmas. Yeah, I think a lot of people from Europe have a bit of a culture shock.
But it's easier for us, like, because we have American and European movies and TV shows and books and stories and all of that.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a few Christmases overseas.
Oh, really?
In
Where?
Europe or the States. The UK, Paris.
Really?
I've had
Fuck off, really?
2 Christmases in Paris, one in...
What was Christmas like in Paris?
Really fun.
Yeah?
Well, one of them was I had invited some of my archaeology buddies from the States who I would work with in Belize. One year we would work in Belize excavating a Mayan city in like June, July. And one year I was like, okay, I'm going to go and stay in an apartment in Paris for Christmas. Do
By
you
yourself?
guys want to come? Yeah.
Just out of the blue, I'm just going to be in Paris for Christmas by myself. Don't know
Yeah.
anyone. Love it.
And they were like, yeah, we're coming. So they came. So we had a Christmas in Paris, like with three of my archaeology best friends from the States.
That's amazing.
It was wild. Like we didn't do any dishes. There was at one point we were just drinking wine out of bowls. Yeah, it was really fun. But I also had one in Germany and a couple in the States, I'm pretty sure.
I am sorry. What? I had no idea.
Yeah, I get around.
That's I have to say, I mean, I've never experienced that. I've only ever had Christmas. I've been in Europe in winter, but I've never had Christmas in Europe. Yeah. I haven't been to Europe very much, but when I have, it's never been
at Christmas.
And I was in Prague recently, and I went there over summer, but I fell in love with it. And while I was there, I was looking up photos of Prague in wintertime, like around Christmas time.
Why didn't we go in?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I'm like, I have to. Like, that is on my bucket list to go to Prague during Christmas time, because holy shit, you would fucking love it.
When we had Christmas in Germany, which was the year that my mum died. So my stepdad took me and my sister and his mum over there just to like do something different, because mum was obsessed with Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, let's not have like Christmas. A sad, weird Christmas at home. Let's go to the other side
make
of the
a good
world.
memory. Yeah.
And our distant cousins took us to like Christmas markets in Munich, and it's fucking stunning.
Yeah.
And magic. And if you're into Christmas,
it's magical.
It's like,
yeah. Yeah. That's what I can imagine. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And like when Peter and I were over there, we were just like, we could almost feel it. We're like, I can totally imagine what it'd be like here.
Like actually magic.
Like actually magic.
Yeah.
And we looked at photos and I was like, next year,
have to.
I'm in Europe.
Yeah. So I just wrote a couple of things about kind of the counterpart to Saint Nick, who is Krampus. Do you know about Krampus?
Okay, so as soon as you mentioned it, I do, but I can't fucking remember.
Okay. Well, so Krampus is very important. Krampus is my most favorite Christmas character.
Okay.
So I think I talked about it before when you asked about Christmas movies.
Yeah.
We watch the Krampus movie every year because it's so bad, but it's so
But can you give me like the
rundown of the movie, or
so you're gonna give
him
of him and then tell me about the movie. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting too ahead of myself.
So he's a character from European folklore. So Saint Nick rewards well-behaved children with gifts. That's what his kind of folklore turned into.
Yep, like naughty and nice
even
list.
Before he turned into Sinterklaas.
Yep.
The kids who misbehaved get visited by Krampus.
That doesn't sound good at all.
He's a horned, half goat, half demon character.
Isn't that like pagan?
Yeah, super pagan.
Like, I mean, we're Capricorns, aren't we? Half goat.
Yep. We're half goat, half human. We're not half goat, half demon.
Are you sure about that? I don't know. I think our ex-boyfriends would probably think something different. But
so Krampus night is December 5th. So the night before St. Nick's feast day. Mm-hmm. And that's when the night before is when he would visit the naughty kids.
Yeah.
Naughty children would be beaten with a birch branch or a whip.
I love it.
So he'd just show up and
beat the shit out of them.
Yep. And the really naughty kids would be taken away in a sack.
Okay, well, that's a little bit dark.
Where they would either be eaten.
Oh.
Drowned.
Oh, shit.
Tortured.
What?
Or carried back to hell.
Holy shit. Well, that took a very dark turn.
Yeah, He's a dark guy.
I actually just saw, I think
like
it was
Santa will just give you coal,
coal.
if you're naughty.
Now Krampus? Nah,
Krampus?
he'll fucking torture your ass.
Krampus doesn't play.
Drown you? Like, holy shit. I actually just saw, I was like an Instagram, I don't know, on Instagram or something, this random thing of, like, I think it was like as a joke, like the parents like giving the kids coal or something, and these kids turned fucking demonic and started bashing the shit out of Santa. Yeah. And to the point where like it was the most, like it was horrific. Like these kids were clearly like, this guy, like, I think what he did was he actually didn't give them coal. He was taking the presents away. So he dressed up as like the Grinch or something.
Okay.
And he came in and he like
was taking the presents.
And they attacked him. And the kids fucking went feral. And I was just like, that's hilarious. That's so funny. But also, what the fuck? Holy shit. Teach your kids.
Not to attack.
Attack
sometimes, but.
I think that was a clear example of probably why the presents were taken away. But like,
obviously, they were naughty list.
They should 100%. They should know about Krampus because I'm sure they would be better kids if they knew.
Yeah,
they would be more polite.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a fucking fear tactic. Like,
yeah.
Let's just instill some fear.
Yeah,
into
fuck the coal. Let's
kids
put in.
Have been naughty since the beginning of time.
Of course,
that's what kids do.
All kids are a little bit naughty. Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
There was no clear origin for Krampus. Some people think he's associated with the son of hell in potentially Norse mythology.
So I think Hel is a woman in Norse mythology.
Interesting.
Yeah,
oh my God, I need to stop saying interesting.
Because I just started playing, oh my God, I'm such a nerd. I just started playing Skyrim again. And Skyrim.
What is it?
It's just a game.
I'm not a video game
on PlayStation.
gal.
Anyway, I've just recently started playing it again. And I remember asking Peter, I was like, fuck, I want a good name, like a Norse mythology name, like, but for a woman. And he goes, Hel. Hel.
Ah.
And she's, I can't remember. She's a goddess of something. So that would probably be then maybe
the son of
Hel. Yeah.
As a woman, not the son of hell.
And Norse mythology. Yeah.
Okay. Or he dates to pre-Germanic paganism, specifically in the Austrian mountain valleys, where there was a character, whatever you want to call it, to cast out winter and its evil spirits.
Okay.
Others think he comes from a 17th century festival called, Perchtenlauf.
Okay.
Perchtenlauf. Sorry. Where people dressed as like devilish human goat figures.
Mm-hmm.
But he became really popular in the late 1800s in Austria, Hungary, Germany, like that region.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because that's kind of also the time where Santa, like the late 1800s is where he became more of a thing.
Yeah, and literary sources and stuff.
Yeah.
He kind of, totally, yeah. So they kind of came up together.
Yeah.
Yeah, as like the hero and the anti-hero kind of. Again, like the good and the evil. Like, yeah, very Christian.
Very Christian.
Yeah.
Krampus is still celebrated today in parades called Krampuslauf. And
Krampuslauf?
It's where young men dress up as him. And if you've watched, like, there's the main Krampus movie, which is the one that I watch.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also other Krampus movies, which are more like horror, like B-grade horror.
I love it.
Terrible. But
love it.
Like all the depictions of Krampus are like terrifying.
Yeah.
Even the shitty ones are. He's
a horror figure. He's like
he's a monster.
He's a monster. Yeah.
So in these festivals that are still kind of done today, or parades or whatever, young men. It says young men, but I'm sure fucking men of any
Anyone.
age or women or whatever dress as him and go through the streets and just like chase people
Just
who were like
terrorise?
doing Christmas shopping or whatever, just terrorize people. And I saw a video of it and I sent it to my big brother and his wife because I so desperately want to go with them because we watch the movie every year and he's such an important figure in my like Christmas experience.
Did we just trade places? Because I feel like that would be my I think that represents me pretty well.
You'll just have to come.
I have to come with.
And
Let me get involved.
I just want to seek out the fucking horned goat man demon person
thing.
Who's like stealing naughty children and drowning them.
That's so fucked though. That's so dark.
But you think like back in the day, like, yeah, you threaten the kids with like, he's going to whip you with a birch branch.
But if you really want to get them in line, you've got to come out with the fucking big guns.
Yeah.
And I think drowning.
He also might drown you or he might take you back to hell.
And you know what? I like if I was threatened with that as a kid.
If you don't want to beat the kids yourself,
yeah.
you gotta
be
threaten them
creative
with a fucking monster.
You got to be creative. And if I was that kid, I would totally probably be fucking terrified.
Give me Saint Nick. Give me some presents.
Please, can I have
Give me some coins in my shoes.
Yeah, I want some coins in my shoes. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck this coal shit in my fucking stocking, whatever.
That's something we should have looked up, but neither of us did. Is like
The
where
whole
the
coal?
coal thing came from.
I think I could totally be wrong, but I think that's an English thing. And I
Coal,
think,
it sounds English.
yeah, I think it's like a 19th century English thing. I think it sounds like it, at least. Like, I can put money on that.
Correct us if
Please.
Raquel's wrong.
Please, I usually am, so please do. Yeah,
So that's me.
that's it. That's Christmas. We were really struggling with this one. We both had really huge. The past month has been insane for us.
I feel like my whole life people have talked about how busy the end of the year is, and I've never understood it.
Experienced it?
Well,
until
I've
now.
just been like, whatever. Like, the last 6 weeks has been the busiest I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I haven't done any Christmas shopping, so good luck to me.
Yeah. It's
we didn't
insane.
have the time that we wanted to invest in this episode.
No,
But
I think.
sorry, and
But I think we did pretty. I think we did a pretty
it's
good
fine.
job.
It's good. It's fine.
We've had so much on. You have been. I've just been either injured or sick, and you've been fucking so busy with modelling and archaeology stuff and life stuff. It's been an insane 3 weeks. But we'll try and be better with our schedule. I know it's been a little
year,
bit.
2023. We got you.
Yeah, we got you. It's been a little bit up and down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. This is our 7th episode, so it's been probably 2.5 months since we started this.
Yeah. And we've actually continued. We didn't just do a couple and then give up.
No.
So.
Yeah. And it'll get better and we'll get better and it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. And I hope you guys
don't hate us.
But please, we've like Migs has been really good on YouTube and giving us some great ideas.
Yes, thank you, Minx.
Yeah. So please, if you also have any really great ideas or things you want us to share or things that you want to ask of us or anything, just let us know.
Yeah.
Because we'll be ramping it up, I think, a little bit next year.
Yeah.
For sure. Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And we will see you probably next year.
That's it.
Bye.
Bye.